Hello everyone, welcome back. Another episode of Radrover Rad Pony Express. Yes, feels like you're riding a Pony Express anyway. Anyways, let's get ready. I'm gonna put on my gloves. We'll get riding here real soon. Alright, let's undock the Radrover. Let's get going. Another beautiful day. It's August, end of August. It's been slowly cooling off, still in the 90s. Let me turn on the bike, get that throttle going, get started. Alright, no time-lapsing on this episode. The time-lapsing takes such a long time to render. Literally takes about 2 days to render just a 10-minute video. Anyways, you might just like the in real-time videos anyway. Get a feel of the ride. I do hit 28 miles an hour here, maybe even more, who knows. If you keep watching, you'll find out. And you know, so far I have been using the Powerbeats Pro, and I have to say the riding experience has been more enjoyable. I've been listening to music. I got Amazon Music because I joined Amazon Prime, and included in Amazon Prime is Amazon Music. So I downloaded all these music, all the different musics that I grew up with, you know. They trigger memories for me. So I'm riding, I'm listening to the music. Kind of helps with, I guess, pedaling. You get into that groove and you start, you know, pedaling, huffing and puffing. Now in this episode, unfortunately, I don't have the helmet mount footage. What I did in this episode is I left the Insta360 ONE on purpose, and the problem is every 30 minutes, if you do it in 60 frames per second, I set the Insta360 ONE to capture at 60 frames per second. I think it makes the video a lot better, in my opinion. And what I noticed is it has a 30-minute limit, and then it restarts the video. Normally that isn't an issue, but what I noticed is that sometimes when I go use the app, the Insta360 ONE app, the stabilization does not work. Even though I put it on FlowState and I stabilize it, even when I do the viewfinder, it still doesn't stabilize, and it just was unusable footage, unfortunately. And the weird part is know, I do a whole round trip. It took me about, like, I think it's a 40 to 50 minute round trip. The first half hour was unusable. The second, I think 20 minutes or maybe 19 minutes of the ride, after it reset, that was usable. So probably in the next episode I will have a helmet mounted footage. So I was kind of limited, but it still works. I mean, at least I have some footage and it's usable. Most of it is going to be the handlebar mount facing front, which you see here, and then the rider view. So I guess I'm fortunate in some ways that the Insta360 ONE has 2 cameras, and that's another reason. Oh, I hit my 28 miles an hour right here. Haven't used that one in a while. Wingardium Leviosa. I don't know if you know what that's from. That's from Harry Potter. That's a levitation spell. The Insta360 ONE has 2 cameras, and that's why I wear at least, I think it's a good idea to have 2 cameras, or 2 different cameras, and each Insta360 ONE has 2 lenses, so I'm wearing 4 cameras. But if you understand how the Insta360 ONE works, you can use free capture, and free capture allows you to look all around and capture the moments that you want to capture at the angle that you want. So it's very useful. I think GoPro is actually coming out with a 360 camera that is gonna have the same features as the Insta360 ONE. I think it's called GoPro Max. It's their newest 360 camera. I'm very interested to see what the GoPro Max has to offer. I just want to see what the price is, because I think the Fusion, the previous version, the GoPro Fusion, when it first debuted, it was like almost like $799, $800. I don't know if I'm going to dish out that much money when the GoPro, like, GoPros are so expensive, sometimes overrated, and just a lot of marketing hype. Especially when the Insta360 ONE is, if you can get a refurbished one for like $200. I'd rather buy, for $800, I'd rather buy like 3, I could buy like literally 3, maybe 4 Insta360 ONEs, or maybe 2 Insta360 ONE X's. I'd rather have a multiple cameras because, you know, if you're gonna ride, you really need a backup camera for backup footage. And more cameras do help make the video editing more dynamic. That's just my opinion. Nicely maintaining 25, 26 miles an hour going up an incline. The GPS is accurate. It really is. It's just that when I slow down, it just doesn't go to 0. And again, it's a free app, GPS tracker on my phone, my smartphone. And it doesn't have a lot of features. The only thing it's really useful for most people is probably the speed. A lot of people want to see the speed. The elevation sometimes is not that accurate. Sometimes I go up and then go down, and sometimes it's all over the place, but it's still helpful. The duration helps. The distance helps. The time and date is important. The date, not so much, maybe just for my memory on, you know, posterity. But the time is very important because when I match up the GPS data to the footage, I clock it. So I use the smartphone as a clock, and I match up the clock. I match up the time, and that's how I'm able to synchronize the GPS data with the footage. That's just a lot easier. Trying to figure out your position on the map and where you are in the footage, is you could be off by half a second, and it makes a difference in the GPS data. So far, you know, the front mounted camera, the Insta360 ONE on the handlebar, if you center it on your handlebar and you're making these turns like slalom turns, you know, like you're weaving, it actually really keeps horizon pretty level. It's just that when you're like on a long turn, like it's turning, you're turning left, but it's a long turning left, the horizon tends to tilt. But if you're weaving real quick, it does do a pretty good job of keeping that horizon pretty level. And that's why I like the rider facing camera, because when it does tilt, it kind of, I don't like it, you know. I watch my videos, I have to edit them, I don't want to get a headache. Oh, here's my second.
Speed!
There you go, 29 miles an hour. Although I was going on a decline here, but still, top speed is top speed, hit 29 miles an hour. In some other videos I've hit 30 miles an hour, but then again, you know, I'm not really pushing hard. I'm not riding really hard. I'm just riding. I'm just riding my electric bike and having fun. Couldn't wait for the signal, so I decided to just take the street from here and go around. Of course, I'm headed to the clubhouse. Take a little shortcut. Go through, this is the main clubhouse, the bucket pool. I don't think the pool's open right now, but I'm just trying to cut through real quick. I don't want to take too long, because like I said, well, I guess in this case it didn't really matter. I didn't want to take too long. I don't want to take like 2-3 hours riding around. I kind of wanted to ride real quick. I'm doing a full round trip, stopping at the clubhouse just for some water and snacks. So I want to get back home because I probably had some bread rising. Let the yeast, you know, do its thing and let it rise. And when I get back home, pop in the oven, have fresh bread, pick up the kids. Kids come home around 3 o'clock-ish. What time is it now? It's like 12:35 or something, 12:36. It's a good way just to get me out of the house, let the bread rise, and when I come back, pop the dough in the oven and get fresh bread. So I guess if you are interested in the Insta360 ONE camera, 1080p at 60 frames per second, it's pretty decent. It's not as sharp, but it's better than 30 frames per second, I can tell you that. And you can do slow-mo a lot better. And the quality seems to be slightly better, slightly, at 1080p of course. The only issue is that every 30 minutes it restarts, and sometimes the stabilization doesn't stabilize. So what I've decided to do now is ride to the clubhouse that I'm going to, and that's my new checkpoint basically, and then restart the camera again, because I think for some reason I don't know, it doesn't realize the stabilization just gets messed up for some reason. It's not the first time it's happened, this is like the second or third time. So just trial and error. Just a beautiful, nice sunny day. You can see I'm not like huffing and puffing and trying to work up a new record speed. I'm just enjoying and riding the bike, and sometimes I hit 28, sometimes I hit 29, sometimes I hit 30 miles an hour. When it's about to rain, that's when I start pedaling hard, because I try to make it home. It's not that the bike can't get wet or I don't like riding in the rain, but you know, the camera equipment, you know, doesn't handle well when it gets wet. I don't use the housing anymore, the waterproof housing. Sometimes the waterproof housing adds a little bit of weight to the Insta360 ONE, even though the Insta360 ONE itself is pretty light, but when you add the waterproof housing to it, it gets a little heavy. And I notice wearing it on my helmet, it feels a little heavier, and then on the bike mount it feels a little heavier as well, because it doesn't hold up as well on the bike mount. On the handlebar mount, it flops down. Alright, almost there, almost to the clubhouse, my new checkpoint. What do I get? Usually I get some water. Always get some water. Put some ice in there on a hot day. Soon enough it'll be cold and I'll be drinking hot chocolate. They don't have chocolate there, but they do have hot water. They do have like a Keurig style machine there, and I'll probably have the wife buy those little hot chocolate packets. So I'll be having hot chocolate, and hopefully they'll continue to have snacks over there. It's usually a granola bar with peanut butter, or chocolate chip, or dark chocolate. Another one is cookies. Sometimes they'll have cookies, sometimes they'll have pretzels, crackers. It's nice that they put that out there. They also have coffee. They also have these flavored syrup. Another thing I'm thinking about is I used to have the soda machines where you make your own soda or carbonated water. I'm thinking about just bringing some carbonated water and then using the syrup as flavor and put it in some ice, and I would have basically soda. I mean, that's what the carbonated water is for, is to make your own soda for the most part. You put syrup or juice or whatever you want. Alright, I'm headed in. Unfortunately, the helmet mounted camera was not stabilized, so the footage is useless. But I do have something for you. I did a time lapse facing the lake, and hopefully you enjoy that. About 45 seconds of time lapse facing the lake. I was basically enjoying nice cold water and the snack. I was sitting outside. I came out, sat outside, rested for a while. You can see on the if you look on the right hand side, you'll see the it's a graph for the speed, but it's also a measure of time. So that little flat bar is how much time I spent. And then I started riding a bike, which you'll see another episode on the way back. And I'll probably flip the map as well. So do some map flipping and then headed back home. So catch that episode. There you go. So thanks for watching, everyone. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. And thank you for watching, and I'll let the music handle the rest. Bye.